All right, let's run this. Let's run this. Dragon Ball Z games. We're going to tier list them. I color coded it. Got never played, trash, C all the way up to A, and of course peak, which is reserved for a couple of games. Fellas, if you just came across my channel, you know what I'm saying? This is going to be the first video when it comes to Dragon Ball. A lot of people are not going to like this, right? It does not, like, I just checked the community rank and everything. It does not look anything like my list. I strictly rank based on my enjoyment of the game. I don't go in through a critical lens. To me, that's kind of like poser shit. You know what I mean? I only rank these games based on my enjoyment level. Also, just to preface this, I did not play the Xenoverse games, right? So I just want to straight off just say this. I did not play the Xenoverse games. And I know they're really popular. And you probably, if you clicked on this video, and you're going to be probably pissed because, like, you know, it's like an essential in the past decade, but I ain't never played them. Right, so let's get this started, bro. Let's get this started. It's going to piss off a couple of people. Let's start with, I'm going to randomly go across the board and see what I got. Bro, what the hell is this? Where's Sagas? Where's Tenkaichi? Oh, there's Tenkaichi. I don't see Sagas in here, bro. And I don't see Sparking Zero because it's probably a little bit older. Bro, this is kind of bare bones. I played much more games than this. Final Bout. But you know what it is? I'm not going to bother and go and look for another one. I'm just going to do this one, right? And y'all let me know. Y'all let me know if you want a more extensive one, right? I'm just going to do this one. Who cares? Let's start off with the most iconic one of them all. Ultimate Tenkaichi. Because we all can agree on this one, all right? I don't think we're going to see one complaint about Tenkaichi. Ultimate Tenkaichi being this low. It's the absolute worst Dragon Ball game. You can go as far as back as the experimental era in PS1. You're not going to find a game worse than this. And I haven't played any PS1 game. Well, I have. But Final Bout, where is it? But this game is garbage. Oh my God, it's garbage. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but let me tell y'all why this game is garbage. It's rock, paper, scissors. It's literally just that, right? If you hear someone talking about this game and you're a younger fan, it's literally just that. It's just some arbitrary bullshit. Right? The graphics were so abysmal. I remember this was PS3, bro. I remember when this game came out. I was just getting to high school. This ruined my whole entire summer. Everything moving forward was ruined because of this game. Ruined. Right? The soundtrack was cool though. Y'all can't tell me the soundtrack wasn't cool. All right, so this was agreed upon. Now I'm gonna say something that's a little bit controversial. I did not like Kakarot that much. Sue me. I don't want to go pick up apples, bro. Was it pretty? Sure. Did it use some of the soundtrack from the original anime? I like that. Sure. Is it like an open world and it's pretty expansive in that way? Sure. But I got bored of it real quick, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I thought I wanted that. I thought I wanted the open world Dragon Ball experience. But for me, it was the most boring one of them all. It's not trash. Certainly not. But it's nothing spectacular. I don't know. People really seem to like this game. Really like this game. The fighting mechanics was whatever, right? Yeah. Just not for me, I guess. I mean, it's still a good game. Don't get me wrong. It's like the amount of effort was put into this game. I can't put it anything lower than C, but I wasn't rocking with it like that. Let's move on. Let's move on to the Raging Blast series. Now, I like the Raging Blast series. I thought they were pretty good. It wasn't like the quiet era of the Dragon Ball gaming, industry. But let me start off with Raging Blast 1 because it's definitely B tier for sure. It's not A tier to me. But the thing is, a lot of people seem to like Raging Blast 1 more than 2. I think Raging Blast 2 was better than 1. Should I put it in A? I'm going to put it in A, bro. I don't care. Listen, I know, yes, it didn't have a story mode. It was pretty bare bones, for sure. Raging Blast 2 was pretty bare bones. The Galaxy mode thing, it was cool if it was another feature. It was like a different mode away from the story mode. But come on, that's like a cardinal sin. You got to have a story mode. I get that. But I like the graphics in 2 were so much better than 1. Y'all with me with that? Like 1 it looked so pale to me. The colors were off in 1. 2 was much better. And I can't even break it down like that, but I just thought the gameplay was better into. It was different. It felt different to me. My brother, who also plays these games religiously back in the day, seemed to think that these two games are roughly the same terms of like the gameplay mechanics. But I seem to think 2 was definitely different, definitely an uptick, and it's better than 1. And I've enjoyed it more than 1. I've played a lot more than 1. And Raging Blast 2, I'm just gonna say this. Call me a noob. Maybe I'm getting called out right now. Was one of the hardest Dragon Ball game. The hardest Dragon Ball game I had played up until that point. Some of those, the Galaxy mode had some of the hardest missions I've played in Dragon Ball. Tien versus Second Cell Form. Android 17 versus Android 20, bro. Oh my god, bro. If y'all cleared those missions quickly, bro, I feel free to call me a noob. But I was like not rocking with it for like at least 3 weeks. Let's move on. Burst Limit, that's going to be a solid C. I ain't played it that much, to be honest with you, because when this game came out, I hadn't had a PS3, right? So I just played through other people's PS3s. And my experience with it was cool, right? The 2D elements, I mean, at that point, I was just so enchanted with like the Tenkaichi model that everything else seemed like whatever to me. But it was a good game. It's definitely not trash. I did not play Battle of Z. I didn't even know that was a game up until recently. Let's go Budokai series. I did not play Budokai 1. I mean, I did. That's Budokai 1. I did not play it. I played it, but I didn't play it enough to give an assessment of it. I did not play it enough to give an assessment of it. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's fair. Oh, Fighter Z. Let's do Fighter Z first. Fighter Z, that's just my opinion. How do I say this? I didn't care for it. I know some people really love this game. Like it has like a competitive scene. It's an Evo year in, year out. And like the hardcore purists who like the technical elements, they seem to love this game. It just was not moving me, bro. I dropped this game so quick. Unless you're really into that style of play, you're not going to rock with it. I'd much rather prefer play Tekken or play Street Fighter 5 or something like that over Fighter Z, bro. I play Tekken. I used to play Tekken 7 religiously. Never figured to pick up Fighter Z. But let me know, bro. This is just my experience with the game. But it could be a B and A tier in terms of like the actual gameplay. Let's go Budokai. Let's go Budokai 2. Budokai 2 is B. I liked it. It's better than Raging Blast. I liked it, but when Budokai 2 came out, or by the time I had access to it, I didn't play it that long for sure. It had some funky ass like features to it. It was a pretty good game, but honestly, I prefer Budokai 3. Budokai 3, and here's the thing. This is a funny thing about Budokai 3. I used to hate Budokai 3 because at a certain point, for some reason on the internet, Budokai 3 and the Budokai series was always like put up against the Tenkaichi series. I know they're different studios and everything. And people seem to think Budokai 3 is better than Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And I'm like, no way. So I started capping and saying this game is ass and whatever in comparison to Tenkaichi 3. When in reality, it's a pretty good game. And now looking back retrospectively, bro, this game was elite. From the intro to the gameplay to the story mode, which is like what Sparking Zero is copying right now, it's an elite game. I have no qualms with it. Now, what did I keep to the end? I don't see Sparking Zero, which pisses me off, not gonna lie. But the Tenkaichi series, the peak of gaming. I might piss off some people here. I think Tenkaichi 1 is a B tier game, and I prefer it to Budokai 2. Here's the thing. Let me tell you. People always seem to talk about, okay, yeah, it was the precursor. It was rough around the edges. You couldn't transform. It did some weird oddball things like Chaozu and Namek and just weird off-kilter stuff. What ifs in Budokai Tenkaichi 1 were just like weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't like them, right? But the thing that Budokai Tenkaichi had that those other games didn't have is the fact that it's a Budokai Tenkaichi game, bro. You still had that free roam access, bro, right? The combos were wonky, but it was still fun, bro. And the soundtrack. I know it seems trivial, but the soundtrack for Tenkaichi 1, the best of the Tenkaichi series. I'm just going to hand down, just say it. If you disagree, let me know, right? Tenkaichi 1, super influential, kicked off the greatest gaming franchise. I mean, one of the greatest gaming franchises ever. I don't care what nobody says. I saw the gaming community had, for this tier list, had Tenkaichi 2 in B tier. Get the, you know what I mean? Let's do Tenkaichi 2 and 3. So this is the moment everybody's waiting for. They're both in peak, right? They're both in peak. Like they're a tier above every other game in the Dragon Ball franchise. I don't care what nobody says. You can add this, and this is obviously like very incomplete. There's so many games missing. Final Bout, Infinite World. What else is there? Sagas. You know what I mean? There's so many other games. All the Game Boy games that I've never played. But Final Bout, let me just cover all the bases. Final Bout will be in trash. Sagas will be in C, even though it's a trash game because of nostalgia and those cutscenes. Look at me. If you've played Sagas, not watch YouTube videos. If you played Sagas as a kid in the mid-2000s and you didn't fuck with those cutscenes in Sagas and that soundtrack and that main theme, come on, bro. It's a C-tier game just because of that, right? And Infinite World would be in B. It's a pretty good game. I didn't play it that much, though. I'm just going to preface this, right? It's like a continuation of Budokai. What else is there? Final Bout would be in trash. I already mentioned that. Yeah, so what's better, Tenkaichi 3 or Tenkaichi 2? I'm going to have to say Tenkaichi 3. And here's why. Tenkaichi 2, to me, it's more like all well-rounded, right? Because it had like the lengthy, extensive story mode. Oh my God, the story mode for Tenkaichi. I even forgot. That's the problem, right? Excuse me. Tenkaichi 2 had such a dense story mode, bro. It's so immersive, and it's just like you sit hours upon hours playing it. It's definitely better than the Tenkaichi 3, shortened, more to like the important elements story mode that Tenkaichi 3 had. But what Tenkaichi 3 had over 2, bro, let's start off with that roster, bro. That roster was crazy. I remember when I booted that game first up, like, oh my God, there's hundreds of freaking characters in this game, right? And the gameplay was definitely, to me, I preferred it to 2. 2 was a little bit more complicated than 3. Now, you have to forgive me because I forgot like major details about this game in terms of like the small, minute details because I haven't played them in over 10 years, right? But I remember 2 having a more like denser project, but 3 a more enjoyable gameplay. But they're both in that S tier by themselves, which brings me to Sparking Zero, which I bought last month. I played it, but I didn't play it that much. I played it obviously, but I didn't get to like, how do I say this? Play it enough to give it like an all extensive cover, like review. But where would I rank it? Sparking Zero brought back that feeling for sure. Definitely brought back the feeling. But it's not as good as Tenkaichi 3 and 2. I'm just gonna say this. If I were to say, it would be. I can't decide if it's better than 3 and Raging Blast 2 and Budokai 3. It'll be in that range. It's better than those two. It's better than those two. But I didn't care for the story mode that much. I know it was a longer story mode. I like the fact that they focus on Dragon Ball Super. That was like the main like driving point of the game. Obviously the gameplay was elite to me. I loved it. I loved how quirky some of these characters. The Yajirobe, I just heard he got freaking patched. That pisses me off. But yeah, the game was amazing. I loved it. For now, I'll put it in A. Let me know what y'all think, man. This is an incomplete Dragon Ball Z game tier list. If you want me to do a more extensive one, let me know. Even though I covered everything here, I guess, for the most part. And let me know if you disagree. I know a lot of people going to disagree with some of these, but yeah, let's see.